Annabelle, as always, welcome back. So, I am reviewing a movie that I have never seen before, which is kind of weird for me because this movie actually came out in 1995, and that movie is The Ice Cream Man, starring Clint Howard. Obviously, you guys know I'm going to be talking about this because it's the title of the video, but hey, whatever. But yeah, regardless, like I said, I've never watched this movie. I thought maybe it would be one of those things that maybe I had watched when I was a kid, when I was on TV. Maybe some of the scenes would come back. No, I've never seen this. I've never, definitely never seen The Ice Cream Man. I know it's one of those movies that, it's got a good following. There's some people who love this movie. And you know what, to tell you the truth, I mean, it's really not a great movie, do not get me wrong, but this is a movie that is definitely, it's kind of a fun one. It's one that you kind of know what you're getting into, kind of right off the bat. You know it's going to be one of those kind of silly, sort of mid-90s, or sort of just, it doesn't even have to be mid-90s, but just one of those, like, kind of goofy sort of attempts at horror. And this is also a time, too, during the 90s, where we were getting a lot of these sort of type of movies, like, like The Ice Cream Man, there was, like, The Dentist, so certain things like that, where it was taking certain occupations, like, we've seen this before, previous to this movie, but this was definitely kind of where we were at, in the early to mid-90s, of some of these sort of type of, like I said, career type of horror movies. I know, like, we had, in the 80s, there was, Maniac Cop, right? It was, like, 80s, right? Yeah, 80s. That had a few sequels and everything. Like I said, there was The Dentist and stuff. So there's a lot of those kind of type of movies in the 90s, which I think is kind of one of the big reasons why the 90s for the longest time was kind of really looked down on, because it keep in mind, for all you youngins out there, the 90s were basically really not a good time for horror movies, even with, like, Scream and stuff, that really kind of ignited the horror genre, but we still were kind of clawing our way to kind of get where we would eventually be with horror movies. But whatever, I'm digressing. Okay, that's totally different video. Anyway, but no, The Ice Cream Man, though. So basically, it's about this ice cream man played by Clint Howard, Clint Howard is one of those people, for those of you who don't know, his brother is Ron Howard from, like, Happy Days and everything, and, not Dick Van Dyke. Mayberry, wherever the fuck Mayberry is in TV land. I'm having such a brain fart on that. I will probably remember it after the video, but whatever. Very successful brother and everything, became a director and everything. And Clint Howard, bless his heart, because I feel like, is definitely one of those character actors in horror that he finally is kind of getting a lot of recognition for his place in horror, but he is definitely kind of well known for some of those, like, really goofy, offbeat characters in horror movies. Like, for example, one that I always remembered him from, and even still to this day, up till a few years ago when I rewatched the movie in Ticks, like, that one scene, I feel like this kind of just sums up Clint Howard, and I don't mean this in a bad way, where he basically was infested with, like, these ticks or whatever, and he popped up at one point, and he's like, oh, I'm infested! Like, that is so Clint Howard, he runs with it. And he very much kind of like someone such as, like, Tim Curry or, Tony Todd, sorry, brain fart, where it's like you see these guys in these roles, and it kind of makes that role, you kind of want to see what he's going to bring to this role, and this one definitely did not disappoint. Like I said, I've watched him in Ticks and everything. I know I've seen him in a lot of other things, but one that always has, like I said, stuck out to me was the movie Ticks. And, to watch him kind of in this one, a little bit more in the forefront, he's kind of the star of it, because he's the ice cream man and everything. It's kind of fun to see him sort of carry this movie. We also have Olivia Hussey in this, who sort of is playing his sort of guardian slash doctor slash landlord, a lot of different things on this plate. Like someone that she just like she knows, as crazy as she kind of is, not quite as loopy as Clayton Howard's character in this, but she kind of knows too. Like she's sort of the only one that this guy has. Even up till the end, she has no idea that he's doing all these like heinous crimes. And spoiler alert, has no idea that he literally killed her dog at the beginning of the movie, and she still has no idea by the end of the movie that her dog is dead and has been put into like the grinder. Which that scene to me, I mean, even though the dog was totally fake and everything, you could tell it was just like a little mold with some hair on it. I was still like, oh my god, the dog, you know. But it was an okay one. I was able to kind of watch it because I was really able to like disassociate myself with that scene. But no, it's kind of a fun one, and especially too like. Because, like I said, this came out in '95, and I was 11 years old in '95. So to see some of those styles and everything, like how the kids were, because I was kind of, you know, at that time, the same age as these kids, sort of in this movie, by a year or two, maybe like off by a year or two. But like watching this brought back so many of those 90-isms that I kind of sometimes forget about. And I, you know, maybe some of that, seeing some of that made me partially kind of like this movie a little bit more than what I would normally like in a movie like this. So, and this is definitely one, you guys, like when I say like, oh man, smoke it if you got it, this would be a perfect example of if you're someone who smokes or starting to get into smoking marijuana, this would be one. I would say, you know what? It's a goofy one. It's a funny one. Might be a little enhanced by using a little marijuana. You know, I'm just saying, get some giggles in it. You know, and which is unfortunate too because I did not smoke during this movie. Which one of these days, maybe I'll re-review it while, you know, having some of my medicine. Still have not smoked today, so I'm sober, dude. But yeah, it's just a fun kind of little movie. Like I said, it's kind of like going in, you know, it's not gonna really be that great. It's not gonna be Candyman or Nightmare on Elm Street or anything like that. But it's got a little niche. It's one of those where if you need a little horror fix, you just want to have a good time, pop it in. Pop it in. If you absolutely hate this movie, I get it. I get it. Because, like I said, this is typically one that I probably would normally be like, that movie fucking sucked. But I had fun with it, dude. Like I said, it's one of those movies, so. But let me know, you guys, what you think of Candyman from Candyman. Not Candyman. The Ice Cream Man from 1995 in the comments below. Till next time, you guys, as always, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.